2424307. This is in the 317th District Court of Jefferson County, Texas, and it's in the interest of Julie Dillon. Mr. Martinez, Ms. Dillon, and Ms. Boudreaux, please raise your right hands. Ms. Boudreaux, you'll need to unmute. Ms. Boudreaux, you'll need to unmute. Are you unmuted, Ms. Boudreaux?
Yes, sir.
The parties and Ms. Boudreaux, do y'all solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I do.
Y'all can all put your hands down. All right, Ms. Overstreet, this appears to be a petition to establish that you filed back in November.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'm looking at my court file, and I do not see that DNA testing has been completed. Mr. Martinez, this is what's called a petition to establish a paternity, old school paternity suit. In a case like this, Mr. Martinez, you're entitled to ask me for DNA testing if you wish to have it. You don't have to take a DNA test if you're absolutely certain that Julian is your son. Then you don't have to take a test. But just, hold on. Let me finish my spiel, okay?
Sorry.
just remember, this is your day to take one. If you have any doubt, I would advise you to take one, because I'm not going to give you one in a couple of years if you have doubts then. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. He's been admonished. Go ahead, Ms. Overstreet. You can call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call Ms. Dillon. Can you state your name?
My name is Caitlin Ashley Dillon.
And you are the mother of Dillon?
Yes, ma'am.
And now, when this case was originally filed back in November of 2022, what county did you live in?
I lived in Jefferson.
And how long had you lived in Jefferson back then?
A year.
Okay. And then at some point after this was filed, did you move to a different county?
Yes, ma'am. I actually moved about a few weeks later.
Okay. And now what? So you moved a few weeks later after it was filed?
Yes. If it was filed November 2022, I moved at the beginning of December 2022.
Okay. Now, so what county do you live in now?
I live in Hardin County.
Okay. But you're asking the court, since we had jurisdiction when it was filed, to go forward, and you understand that everything from now on will be in Jefferson County.
Oh, yes, ma'am. That's perfectly fine.
Okay. Now, do you have any safety concerns or issues with your address being in the court order?
I do. I would prefer if it wasn't. If it is, I would prefer that it be made clear that no one is welcome to show up at my residence at any time.
So in the last 2 years, have there been any incidences of family violence or anything specific that you can tell the judge about as to why you don't want your address in the court order?
Yes, ma'am. So Skyler Martinez was living with his parents whenever we established paternity, and he actually got kicked out for being drunk and being violent. And so my concern is, I don't want him showing up over here drunk and acting out.
Okay. Now, when Julian was born, shortly after that, did you and Mr. Martinez go and do your own DNA testing?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, Skyler paid for the paternity test. We had it done in Beaumont at a lab. So
okay, and that DNA test showed that he was the father.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that was in what month?
That was October of 2021.
Okay, and now I forgot to ask you this. The child does live with you, correct?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And are you asking the court to find that Mr. Martinez is the legal father of Julian Kenneth Dillon?
What do you mean?
Well, are you asking the court to find that he's the father?
Yes, okay. Ma'am.
And are you asking the court to leave the child's last name Dillon or change it to Martinez?
I would prefer it stay Dillon. I don't mind if it's hyphenated.
Okay. So you wouldn't mind if it was Dillon - Martinez?
Yeah, that would be fine.
Okay. Now, is Mr. Martinez a good father?
No.
Can you tell the court why you think he is not a good father?
Skyler's not a good father because he abandoned all his fatherly responsibilities, including visitation and financial responsibility for Julian, merely because of the fact that I did not want to pursue a romantic relationship with him.
Okay. When was the last time he saw the child?
To my knowledge, the last time he saw Julian was February of 2022, late February.
Okay. Now, since he has not seen the child in a while, the judge is going to do some supervised visitation. Is there a place where you would prefer that supervised visitation
You don't know that, Miss Overstreet.
Well, if the judge does supervised visitation,
don't do that, Miss Overstreet. Don't presume what my ruling is before all the evidence is heard.
if the judge were to order that, is there a place where you would prefer the supervised visitation be?
Yes, ma'am. I would prefer the supervised visits be at his parents' house, which is 5 minutes from his residence, if that.
Okay. And does the child go to his parents' house kind of on a regular basis?
Yes, ma'am. Whenever I'm working, he stays overnight with his parents, usually about 2 or 3 days at a time.
Okay. And does Mr. Martinez live there?
No, he got kicked out of his parents' house, so he lives a few minutes down the road.
And do you know whether or not whenever the child's there, if Mr. Martinez goes and visits with the child, or do you not know?
He does not go over there. From my understanding, him and his parents do not have a good relationship, and he hasn't been welcome over there.
Then why would they be able to supervise?
Because the reason they don't have a good relationship with him is because he didn't choose to be a father, and they don't support that. So if it was,
You just told me why you think they would. I asked you why you thought his parents would be good people to supervise if Mr. Martinez is not allowed in that residence.
because he'd be allowed back over there to see.
Okay. So you, in your opinion, you believe that his parents, Mr. Martinez's parents, would allow the supervision to take place in their household.
Oh yeah, I've talked to them about it.
Go ahead, Ms. Overstreet.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, how is Julian covered for insurance?
Through Medicaid.
And do you have any personal knowledge one way or the other what Mr. Martinez, anything about his income?
To my knowledge, he got hired on at HEB Plus in February of last year, and that he still works there.
Okay. Now, do you have any knowledge one way or the other of whether he has any other children under the age of 18?
So from my understanding, after Julian was born, I come to find out that he does have another child out there somewhere that he signed his rights away to.
Okay. Now, so Mr. Martinez has known at least since October of 2021 that the child was his. Now, are you asking for any back child support or just child support going forward?
Back child support for sure.
And since the time that he found out that the child was his, has he helped you financially with the child?
So after he found out that Julian was his, I had recently moved into an apartment, and he helped me pay my rent for about 3-4 months. And then after that, he didn't help at all.
And can you give the judge a total amount of how much he gave you?
It was roughly $600 because my rent was $525, and I just asked him to help me pay half, which was I just let it be $200.
Okay. Y'all, I have nothing further of this witness. I'd like to pass the witness and call Mr. Martinez.
Go ahead.
Mr. Martinez, can excuse me, can you state your name?
Skyler Cole Martinez.
And what county do you live in?
In Hardin County.
Okay. And Miss Dillon had testified that sometime in October of 2021, after the child was born, y'all had the DNA, and that it stated that you were Julian's father. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Stop it. Get some help.
Now, when was the last time you recall seeing the child?
Probably late February, early April of 2022.
Okay. Now, if the judge were to order the supervised visit, any supervised visits for you to get to know the child again, would are you agreeable with that happening at your parents' home?
I think I myself should probably speak to my attorney first before, and maybe or
Hold on. Mr. Martinez, you do understand that this is a trial in regards to.
mm-hmm.
Is that a yes? You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, if you were going to have an attorney, why isn't your attorney here?
Okay. True. I did ask them about that too, but okay, fair point. Never mind.
Do you have an attorney, Mr. Martinez?
I do.
Have you hired the attorney?
Yes.
You've paid this person money?
Yes, sir.
Who is the attorney?
Here, let me get my documents real quick.
And I apologize, Your Honor. This is the first time I've heard that he had an attorney.
You're good, Miss Overstreet. You're fine. You don't know the name of your attorney, Mr. Martinez?
I don't know, like off the top of my head. I have to read it.
You deal with that many attorneys, Mr. Martinez, that you don't remember which one you hired?
It's really a group. Other assistants. It's called. Where's the name of it?
I'm not worried about the firm, Mr. Martinez. I want to know the actual name of the attorney that you paid money to.
Let's see here. And then it's this one, which is
It's been 84 years.
It's okay, just try to remember anything at all.
Kim Cantu.
Tim Cantu. And where is
Yeah.
Mr. Cantu located? What city and state?
Oh no, my bad. No, this this is fast serve civil processing, Lee processing, Dallas process server.
Yes, that's not.
Yeah, these are all different.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
So you're not able to come up with a name, Mr. Martinez, of who you hired?
I guess not at the moment.
Okay.
No, sir.
Go ahead, Ms. Overstreet. There's no attorney.
Okay, thank you. I believe my last question was, are you agreeable to doing if there are any supervised visits at your parents' house?
If I'm agreeable with it,
Yes.
I mean, I'm okay with it, but I still didn't really want visitation.
Then don't exercise it.
Yeah, okay, I didn't.
Just because I give you something, Mr. Martinez,
Yeah.
doesn't mean you got to use it.
Yeah, I
Now,
didn't understand the premises. I'm sorry.
The question was different. I'll give you that.
are you asking for the child's last name to stay as Dylan, or are you wanting to do Martinez? Are you okay with the hyphenated?
I know she had stated she's okay with it being hyphenated, and like I stated previously earlier, I know other people would want it hyphenated. Me myself personally, I don't want to cause any more problems, so I would prefer if it just stayed the same.
To stay
'Cause
Dylan?
I think she
Okay.
would like that. I think she would like that.
Okay. Now, do you have any other children under the age of 18?
No.
And where are you currently working?
HEV.
And what do you do there?
I'm a perishable goods stalker.
And how much do you make an hour?
$15 an hour.
And how many hours a week do you typically work?
Like 24 to 26.
And do you have health insurance available for the child?
No, ma'am, I don't.
And now, Ms. Dillon had mentioned that you had given her about $600 previously to help with her rent. Do you recall, is that about how much you've helped her financially since you found out the child was yours?
It sounds correct.
Okay. Now, how long have you worked at HEB?
For a little bit over a year now.
And where did you work before that?
At FedEx.
And how long did you work there?
For a little bit, like 5 months, 6 months, something like that.
So starting in about mid 2021.
Yeah.
And how much I'm sorry, say that again.
I started during the summer because it was real hot and stuff. I remember that.
Okay. And do you remember how much you were working there as a driver?
Yeah.
And do you remember how much you made an hour there?
No, I didn't make any hourly wage. I made a weekly salary. I think it was around 480 or 500. It was between that.
Okay. And that was, but before taxes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Y'all have nothing further, and I have no further witnesses.
All right, hold on one second. Mr. Martinez, you working at HEB?
Yes, sir.
How come you only working 26 hours a week?
Because I'm only part-time.
Why?
Because I guess because our department's so full of employees. I mean, I've been working really hard, working up, trying to get full-time. It just hasn't come my way just yet.
Right. Anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Dillon, is there anything else you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Mr. Martinez, is there anything else you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
No, sir.
The court's going to find the court has jurisdiction. The court's going to find that Mr. Skyler Martinez is, in fact, the biological, and now I'm going to find him to be the legal father of the child, Dylan. I'm going to find that it is certainly not in his best interest, not Dylan, I'm sorry, his best interest for the parties to be joint managed conservators. Miss Dylan will be the sole managing conservator. Mr. Martinez will be a possessory conservator of the child. I'm going to order visitation. The visitation will be a phased-in visitation schedule with 20 visits at each phase. All visits all supervised visits will be in the home of the paternal grandparents. If Mr. Martinez chooses not to have visitation, that's his choice, but I'll give him the right. If he chooses not to use them, that's up to him. I'll order Miss Dillon to maintain the current health insurance on the child. There will be no domicile restriction in this case, and there will be no non-disclosure. I have no evidence of any family violence between Miss Dillon and Mr. Martinez, and therefore I cannot grant non-disclosure. Child support in this case is going to be based on the information that Mr. Martinez gave me. Child support will be $295 a month plus $40 a month in cash medical. Those payments will begin June the 1st of 2023. Retroactive child support will be granted for the time period at least since the date that the DNA testing was completed. I'll find that retroactive child support in the amount of $5,600. That'll be paid back at a rate of $50 a month, also beginning June the 1st. Court costs by Mr. Martinez, but I'll give him until November the 30th of 2023 to pay my court costs. Ms. Overstreet, did the state of Texas hear all the terms and conditions of my court order?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Right when you said it's child support, I was coughing. You said 225, right?
295.
Okay, thank you. I was coughing and I didn't hear. I heard everything else.
Ms. Dillon and Mr. Martinez, what's going to happen now is Ms. Overstreet's office is going to send me a proposed order. If it matches what my ruling is today, I'm going to sign it and get it back to them, and then they're going to make a copy and send it to each of you, okay?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you.